Mortgage rates are back above 7% and have been climbing for weeks. When will they stop? Housing inventory is still falling, and we have less than 500,000 homes for sale in the U.S. New construction remains king as they hold most of the available supply and are able to offer huge incentives and low rates, although those incentives are getting smaller every day as demand is coming back into the market. Sellers are definitely coming back into the market, but so far there is still too much demand from buyers for inventory to increase. We're covering all of this and more in today's weekly update. My name is Michael. I'm a real estate agent here in the Dallas area, and every Monday I give you a weekly update covering all of Dallas and Collin counties as well as the national real estate market. We're looking for trends. We're tracking mortgage rates as well as mortgage purchase applications, as that's our best leading indicator to what demand will look like 30 to 90 days from now. We're looking at things like median list price, days on market, how many homes are having price decreases, what's inventory looking like, and if you stick around until the end, it's my favorite part, the top 10 ranked chart of both hottest and coolest cities and zip codes in all of Dallas and Collin counties. If this sounds like something you're into, make sure and hit the subscribe button. And if you're looking to buy or sell in the Dallas area, whether it's next week or next year, I'd love to connect. I've helped every one of these yellow dots find their little piece of Texas, and I'd love to help you too. Just call, text, or shoot me an email. All that is in the description below. Okay, today is February 19th. Let's see what the data is telling us. And if this is an old video, you can click the playlist here and it'll take you to the latest weekly market update. First up is always market news. Now I'm about to give you a lot of information quickly, but don't feel like you need to remember it all. I'm going to summarize it for you once I've given you all the data. So first of all, sellers are coming back into the market. In fact, there were 66,000 new listings that hit the market this week in the US, which is 14% more than the corresponding week last year. Now, 14,000 of those homes are already under contract, which leaves a net increase of 52,000 new listings this week. This is the highest weekly gain since 2020. Now, I should clarify, in 2021, there were many weeks where more homes were listed than this, but they would all get contracted too quickly to be counted in the weekly gain. So this is the biggest net weekly gain. So it's still not a ton of sellers, and in fact, we actually had a net decline in the overall number of active listings in the US. So inventory is still dropping, but a 14% increase from a year ago is definitely something. The next important number here is those 14,000 immediate sales. This just means a listing hit the market and it contracted within the first week, essentially bypassing the active market numbers. It's like it never existed. It came on and it was gone before it could even be counted in the weekly numbers. These immediate sales saw a 6% increase compared to the corresponding week last year. And the next important number is the number of homes that went under contract. There were 61,000 new contracts this week, which is up 9% from last week and 3% from a year ago. So in summary, a 14% increase in new listings, which is great, a 6% increase in immediate sales, meaning the market is hotter than it was last year, a 9% weekly increase in the number of homes going under contract, again, the market is heating up, and a week decline in overall inventory. What all of this tells us is, even with a 14% year-over-year increase in the number of people listing their homes, there are still too many buyers chasing too few houses, even with mortgage rates back above 7%. I know there are many of you stuck on the sidelines waiting for rates to drop, hoping that you can swoop in and get a bargain. But what you might be missing is just how much competition is waiting there on the sidelines with you. Even with rates already back above 7%, there are already more buyers than there are sellers. There's already too much demand for too few houses. If your hopes come true and rates actually do drop, that's going to bring in way more buyers than there already are. Then you'll have way too many buyers for too few houses. Meanwhile, as you've been waiting for rates to drop, mortgage rates are actually rising again, and seasonal demand is only going to increase the closer we get to the summer. So please do not wait thinking you're going to time the market and get a great deal. Everyone else on the sidelines next to you is thinking the exact same thing, and that's why it can't happen. The best thing you can do is figure out how much house you can actually afford today and just buy what you can afford. Okay, moving on, let's look at our usual charts, starting with national housing inventory. Okay, here's our housing inventory chart, and as we just discussed, we had a decrease, but it was a decrease of just 833 homes for sale in the US. So you can see it's declining, but it's definitely slowing down. And we talk about this every week. Historically speaking, we should see a bottom of inventory around the end of January, early February. So we're already past that. However, since COVID, the bottom of inventory started in March and only got later until last year. It was all the way at April 14th before we saw inventory start rising. So it's potentially a good sign that we're already seeing a slowdown of the decrease. Of course, 1 week means nothing. As we saw here, it looked like it was going to start turning and then it went straight down. But this was because rates kept dropping. So as of now, rates are still going up. So if they go up or hold, we very well could see a bottom soon of inventory start to climb. And of course, the hope is always one of these years we have to get back to a January, February, back to a normal market. So if it were to happen mid-February, that would be great news. Now, we kind of talked about this, but let's look at the number of new listings. I want you to see it on this chart. So as you can see, the bright red line, that's 2023. So the 14% increase was from there to there. So 14% increase from last year is great, but it also just takes us back to almost exactly where we were in 2022, and we do not want to follow the 2022 line, even though it's much better than 23. But we want to blow this one out of the water. So it's great that we're well above last year, but we really need to be quite a bit above 2022 as well. As you saw, it looked like we may be starting that trend last week. We were well above both of those years, but now we're right back to 2022, but still much better than 23. So we will take it. And then the last thing we cover is the number of homes having price decreases every week. So looking at the national chart this week, we're at 30% of homes had a price decrease, down from 31.3% this time last year. So this is actually the closest this gap has been since we've been tracking. All last year, the number of homes having price cuts was several percent below the previous year. I want to say it was around 3 or 4% most of the year. Now we're just 1.3% away from being equal to the number of homes last year having a price decrease. Now, something you need to know is typically the number of homes having a price decrease every week will start to go up somewhere around March or April. That's when you'll start to see it curve up. Okay, let's move on to mortgage rates. We started off the week at a 6.96 and we got all the way up to a 7.14 at the end. And this is not good. I'll keep saying it. If we want the housing market to grow, we need mortgage rates to stabilize. Even if they stay at 7%, if they'll just stabilize and stop having these big swings, stability brings confidence for both buyers and sellers that they will be able to make an informed decision. Okay, we usually look at the 10-year chart, but it's a holiday, so it's not going to be moving, so we won't look at it today. And then the last thing is mortgage purchase applications. This week, we actually saw a 2.5% decrease in the number of people applying for homes. And if you'll remember, last week we saw a 1% decrease. So we had 8 straight weeks of positive growth as rates were dropping, and now we've had 3 straight negative weeks as rates have been climbing. So rates down near 6% brings in a lot of buyers. Rates back up over 7%. Less buyers. Okay, before we move on to the local market data, 2 things. I'm now doing a weekly online home buying webinar. This is for anyone who is considering buying a home in 2024 in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. If that's you, click the link in the description and sign up. You can also watch a replay instantly. And number 2, I've developed a max affordability calculator that many of you have already used. This will help you very quickly and easily get into the ballpark of how much house should you actually be looking for your desired budget based on mortgage rates today. It will give you several different options to review, and it takes into account everything all the way down to your tax bracket. It's completely free to use, so please take advantage of it. If you're interested, you can watch this video next. Okay, now let's zoom in on the local markets here in Dallas and Collin counties. We always start with the MLS data, so starting with Dallas County, we had 482 new listings in the last 7 days. That's 36 less than last week. 279 closed sales. That's 60 more than last week. 310 went under contract, 12 less than last week. Of the homes that closed, 68 were immediate sales, meaning they contracted within the first week. That's 9 more than the previous week. And in total, there are 2,089 homes either under contract or in pending status, and that's 147 more than last week. Now moving on to Collin County, 329 new listings, 27 more than last week. 196 closings, 58 more than last week. 177 went under contract, 1 less than last week. 36 immediate sales, 3 more than last week. In total, there are 1,783 homes either under contract or in pending status in Collin County. That's 50 more than last week. Okay, moving on to the housing data. If you've seen my videos, you know I use the Market Action Index, which just takes into account all of this data, puts it into one easy to read graphic with a number. Anything at 30 or below is a buyer's market. Above that, we're just asking how much of a seller's market are we in. We are still having just a slight seller's advantage, and really, there's no big surprises coming in here. We really just check this every week to see are things looking normal, and things are looking totally normal. As we can see, starting with the Market Action Index, the number is increasing. That means the market is getting hotter. Median list price, it had a small tick up a few weeks ago, or was it just last week, and it's held there. Nothing surprising here. And again, we're always looking for trends. So even if this was a spike up or down for a week, that's not a trend. That doesn't matter. But basically, you can see median price of new listings has been pretty flat. Same with median list price. You could say this is the top, this is the bottom, and we're just staying in that range. Median days on market as well. We have not broken above this 56. We had 1 week of 49, and we're back up to 56. Number of homes having price decreases. It's barely below the range that it's been in. Nothing surprising there. Inventory, slight tick up. but I mean very slight. So 3,054 up from 2,983. But long story short, Dallas County looks totally normal. Don't want to waste any more time on that, but I do want to waste some time here in Collin County because, as I've been saying every week, Collin County is a different story because it has a ton of new construction. And as we can see, median price as well. So the list price, we could say that's the top, that's the bottom. We're still just within that range. Same with new listings. That's the top, that's the bottom. We're just in the range. So nothing unusual there, but what is unusual is the number of homes having price increases every week. First of all, Collin County is already at 46. It's a strong seller's market, but all of these builders, whatever they're seeing in their communities, because they see the things we can't, they see how many people are walking in the communities every week, how many people are getting approved with their lenders, how many people are contracting their lots. That's all data that we'll never have, that they get in real time. And whatever they're seeing there is causing them to increase the prices of their homes. The demand they're seeing is obviously high enough to say, we're going to increase 10% of our homes this week are going to have a price increase, 9.72%. So I've been watching this every week and I've been waiting for it to slow down, and it's not slowing down. That week 4% had, 5.58 had, 6.69, 8.41, and now 9.72% of homes had a price increase this week. And I'm telling you also because I watch this, because I always have buyers looking for new construction in Collin County. It's not just Collin County, it's all of the surrounding areas where there's new construction. All of the builders are raising their prices. Some of them are raising it 14 to 16% of their homes every week. So I'll have a search set up for a buyer and I have to send them the screenshot and say, look, in your home search, 5 homes had a price increase this week. 3 homes had a price increase this week. So I'm telling you, I have a lot of searches set up and I'm seeing price increases going up, but you see it reflected here as well. Almost 10% of homes in Collin County had a price increase this very week. So if you're looking for new construction in Collin County, that's the trend right now. Next week, more than 10% of homes will have had a price increase. The longer you wait, the more the chance that your home is having price increases. Okay, moving on to the last section here. This is my favorite part, the top 10 ranked charts, the hottest and coolest cities and zip codes in all of Dallas and Collin County. This is using that same market action index number to tell us how hot the market is. Starting with the absolute hottest cities. Louisville takes the #1 spot this week. It heated up 1 spot. Carrollton heated up 2 spots to take the #2. Coppell went from #1 all the way down to #3. It cools off 2 spots. Plano cools off 1. Grapevine, Richardson, Saxe, and Allen all remain in their spots. Garland heated up 1 and switched places with Duncanville. So those are the top 10 hottest cities. Remember, a 30 or below is a buyer's market. So when we're up at 57, this is a very hot market. But even hotter than that, we want to make sure we're zooming in on specific zip codes. So as you can see, Plano 75023 is already a 65.36. That is the hottest zip code in all of Dallas and Collin County. That is incredibly hot. Surprisingly, #2 is Garland, 75042. That's unusual. Followed by Louisville, 75077, Carrollton, 75010, Frisco, 75035, Dallas, 75287, Louisville, 75067, Plano, 75025, Carrollton, 75007, and Dallas, 75231. So you'll see the top 7 are all above a 60. So if you're looking to buy in these zip codes, you can expect a lot of competition. Now we're going to do the exact same thing, but looking at the coolest markets, looking at the coolest cities. Van Alstyne remains. It is the only buyer's market in all of Dallas and Collin County. Leonard, Whitewright, Seagoville, all those remain in the top 4 coolest spots. Nevada cools off 1. Balch Springs heats up 1. Rockwall and Farmersville remain, and then Rowlett cools off 1. And Anna jumps onto the list at the hottest city on the coolest cities list, replacing Red Oak this week. Now zooming into the zip codes, the absolute coolest zip code, and this is well into a buyer's market, is Dallas, Texas, 75246, followed by Van Alstyne, 75495, Dallas, 75204, Leonard, 75452, Whitewright, 75491, Dallas, 75203, Dallas, 75223, Seagoville 75159, Nevada 75173, and Dallas 75253. Remember, if you're looking to buy or sell in the Dallas market, whether it's next week or next year, I'd love to connect. Just call, text, or shoot me an email. All that info is in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.